So there's really no way to avoid clips from the Joe Rogan program on YouTube. I'm almost thinking of like, I'm going to be one of those weirdos who gets off of social media entirely just so I could be totally oblivious to all this stuff. But I saw this clip of Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell. I guess this is one of the latest clips. When was this? 7 days ago. 7 days ago, this video was uploaded. 4 million views. And that's just on YouTube. That doesn't count people who listen to this on the podcast. This is 4 million views minimum on YouTube, okay? 7 days ago. Duncan Trussell and Joe Rogan. I love Duncan Trussell. His podcast, the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. It's like, he just gets on these people. It's a very psychedelic vibe to this show. It's a very Genesis Peorage vibe. Magic, like a very magical vibe to this show. And I think Duncan Trussell is probably what gave Joe Rogan's program the kind of psychedelic side to it. Blah, 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 whatever. But I think I probably subscribed to Duncan Trussell's podcast because I heard about it on Joe Rogan's show. And this is like the interesting thing about this is that there still are these like gatekeepers. You know, I mean, Joe Rogan is a gatekeeper, basically, you know, like he probably really helped boost not just Duncan Trussell's career, but a lot of people's career, you know. If you could get 4 million views on YouTube in 7 days, it's... people got to get on your show. You know what I mean? Like, people got to get on your show. I got to get on this Joe Rogan show. You know what I mean? But Duncan Trussell did a very interesting and brave thing, because I think, like, every time I've seen Duncan Trussell on the Joe Rogan podcast, they're clearly friends. They love each other. Joe Rogan in this interview even offered to buy Duncan Trussell a house because Joe Rogan's moving away and he wants Duncan Trussell near him. Like, that's what we're talking about here. It's great, you know? But there's this really interesting part of this where Duncan Trussell says what somebody should have said to Joe Rogan a long time ago, which is like, look, man, you're having people like Ben Shapiro on your show. I think these people are taking advantage of you. I think this guy's a creep and he's a weirdo. And just to let you know, like, I don't like that stuff, and that guy's like a bad force, basically. And Joe Rogan's like, no. He'll defend this Ben Shapiro guy to the death, basically. But you could tell I think he likes Duncan Trussell more than Ben Shapiro. He can be swayed over to the Duncan Trussell side of the universe, away from the kind of congealing, toxic Avenger side of Ben Shapiro. I mean, this is just like almost like an interesting sociological document or something, because you have a guy, there's like a kind of a little bit of a power imbalance thing here. Even though these guys are clearly friends, there's clearly like a bond, they care about each other and all this stuff, and there's a deeper level to the friendship and all that stuff. There's still a power imbalance happening because Joe Rogan presses send, presses upload on his video, 4 million people start paying attention. It's crazy. It's crazy, that level of a platform and of a voice. It makes people's careers and secures their financial life and so on, etc., right? But Duncan Trussell does a brave and noble and correct and morally just thing, which is he says to Joe Rogan, hey, you know, this could hurt our relationship, this could hurt my career, but I'm gonna do the right thing and say, hey, you're having creeps and weirdos on your podcast. You're having a guy who you kind of launder and treat like a normal person, who's said basically genocidal things about Arab people, who's said super anti-trans stuff, anti-gay, blatantly racist stuff. I've seen stuff that's, I mean, let's be honest. You would only need to read a little bit in between the lines on some of the stuff that Ben Shapiro has posted. That's, guy's not a fan of black people, let's just say it. Totally crazy. Not only that, like misinformation. I saw a clip, I did a video about this a a Joe Rogan clip where he's got this guy on his podcast, and he said that the LBJ, kind of war against poverty programs didn't do anything, were a waste of money. And then I fact checked it. I looked it up, and it's exactly the opposite. There was a study done. Pretty recently that showed that twice as many people would be in poverty if those programs didn't happen. And even then, when those programs went into place, they cut poverty in half in black communities. So he's not only is he like this weird bigot, but he's also just a blatant liar. And I remember there was a clip going around a couple years ago where he was talking about net neutrality, and he said that net neutrality is basically that like a site like Netflix has to run at the same, it has to be delivered at the same speed as somebody in their basement running a blog or something like that, which is not true, which is not how the internet works. I mean, the dude it's just like a bad idea after bad idea, and a lot of it's bigoted and racist and just anti-human. And I didn't even mention the fact that he got his website started by fracking billionaires, and he's always for years there's tons of material on his site and him giving speeches about how climate change is fake. I mean, the dude is like, I mean, at this point it's almost like, at what point does someone like that like get help? Like, somebody needs to help the dude, I think. And Duncan Trussell does the right thing. He knows that Joe Rogan has this weird attachment to this bigoted little whack job who he has on his site, who has on his million view YouTube channel all time after time after time, and Duncan Trussell's like confronts him about it, and it's an uncomfortable interaction. And there's a part when I was watching this where I was like, this might be the end of Duncan Trussell on the fucking Joe Rogan show, because Duncan Trussell keeps pushing back. God bless Duncan Trussell, did the right thing. And he kind of used the wedge of like the wet ass pussy video from Cardi B. He's like, the dude's a fucking dork. He's a dork. He's a nerd. He's an idiot. To kind of wedge into this thing and make it easier to understand, instead of going on and on about what everybody already knows, that the dude's a bigoted lunatic with far right, like super far right, fascist view of the world. Should not have a platform anywhere, I think. So very brave, kind of put his career at risk, put his good standing with this, very influential guy, this career maker, at risk to do the right thing. He went full Spike Lee. He went full Mookie up in this piece, and he did the right thing. And Duncan Trussell deserves all praises due to Allah and to Duncan Trussell. I don't know why I was unsubscribed, but for some reason I was not subscribed to Duncan Trussell's podcast. Resubscribed, and I'm gonna give to his Patreon, because what he did the right thing. I could probably be donating to somebody a little bit who needs it more on Patreon, which I will do, but just so proud of Dunc for what he did, and I'm gonna listen to your podcast again and donate. But it's super uncomfortable, and it's just it reminds you of this dynamic, that everybody's had probably in their life at some point, where it's, you have a job or you have a boss or somebody who's gatekeeping your survival or gatekeeping your access to money, basic needs and all this stuff. And you're like, I got to kind of compromise what I really think because I don't want to get fired. It's basically the same dynamic here. You can feel it. Duncan Trussell's like, being careful, and he usually is about this kind of stuff when he goes on the Joe Rogan thing, but he just comes out with, he's like, this dude's taking advantage of you, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, there's a couple people like this, we know who they are, these kind of right-wing kooks who are funded by people with bottomless pockets, who want to push a fringe, anti-human, brain dead, demented view of the world. Ben Shapiro ads, nonstop ads on YouTube. I get ads every day, and from his weird sister too. I mean, it's such easy content to talk about this guy because it's such insanity. It's such like someone needs therapy at this point because this is sociopathic. Like, he needs to be studied. This is from a wiki collection about things that this dude has said. Shapiro wrote an article in Town Hall in 2002 stating that he is, quote, really sick of people who whine about civilian casualties in Afghanistan because, quote, one American soldier is worth far more than an Afghan civilian. This dude is also radically pro-life. And he barfs up a quote like that. This is a troubled person. This is a deeply troubled person who should have no followers. But because of the power of advertising and millionaires, billionaires backing him, has an absurd following. I mean, like, I almost think it's like a troll. Like, maybe I'm just like an old person who doesn't get this, that this is a total troll. But if there's one person out there who's like, this guy has some pretty good ideas, it's enough to be like, yo, something's really wrong here. Dude's talking about genociding Arab people, transphobia. He thinks gay people shouldn't be. He wouldn't go to the wedding of a gay couple. I mean, it's just insanity. And yeah, just again, Duncan Trussell did the right thing. It's sort of like I did a video just yesterday talking about Jim Gaffigan going on Twitter and being like, shocking everyone with the unheard of information that no one's ever said before, that Trump sucks and he hates Trump. Oh my God, how shocking. And some idiot in the Wall Street Journal wrote a page about like, ooh, Jim Gaffigan's just throwing his following overboard. He's just throwing his following overboard. Why does he have to say profanity? Yeah, these idiots, there's always going to be these idiots, these gatekeepers, these buffoons who are going to try to North Korea speaking out against lunatics like this idiot Ben Shapiro, who everyone should know is an idiot. Like the littlest fact checking. I don't care about this guy. I don't care about any of these right-wing YouTubers. I think they're idiots. I'd much rather talk about anything else. But they're so stupid. They're like idiot clicks. They get idiot crybaby clicks, and people pay attention to them. Yeah, like people are just afraid that they're gonna get in trouble if they say something against obvious dipshits like Ben Shapiro and obvious buffoons speaking out against obvious lunatics like Jim Gaffigan did. It's like, whoever you are, like, don't, do the right thing. Do the right thing. And Duncan Trussell did the right thing.
It's this battle to try to like navigate this enormous metal structure through the fucking ocean.
Right.
And that's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
That's why you gotta do a podcast with me, Duncan.
Anytime. I'll do anything for you, man.
We gotta work this out.
We can work it out. I mean, the answer is...
Jamie, I'm not wrong, right?
No, but... The answer is compassion, Joe.
By the way, this is like... I don't think I've ever seen two people so ripped on a recording before in my life. I mean, Joe Rogan's doing the thing that I've only... That has only happened in my mind where I'm like, ooh, I've had way too much to drink and everything is kind of one big like mush coming out of my mouth and it's all slurring together and everyone knows that I am just gone. And that's the whole interview. Duncan Trussell plays it off really well. I feel like Duncan Trussell's he's riding the wave a little bit better, but Joe Rogan, you could tell, is like just on another planet.
Lots of ways to do it.
No, this is what I'm thinking. You and I have a very unique frequency.
Yeah. Let's do it.
This is why it's important. Because when you and I get together, and I firmly believe you and I could do this every goddamn week.
I love it.
Especially if we only saw each other once a week.
It's the best.
I'll fly you in.
I'll fly in.
Come to Austin
We
once
can Zoom.
We can Zoom. We can do whatever. I'll fly to North Carolina. Whoosh.
I'm not going there. I'm going to Colorado, man.
I meant Cuba.
Yeah, man. Like, I love it, Joe. I mean, to me, like, you know, that's what I think so great about the fact that you got to be the person that you are, that you got to be the spotlight got to be on you as it is. And the reason it's on you, and the reason I really, like, not much offends me, man. But when people start attacking you, I have to fight against my offense because I know you. And so when people are fucking at arms against you, I feel really depressed because I know you. And you are one of the most progressive people I've ever met. And so when people start falling upon you because you have like fucking nerds like Ben Shapiro, which by the way,
like, does Joe Rogan know that Ben Shapiro's a lunatic, but he just likes the clicks? Like he knows that that little weirdo has a bunch of following, has a bunch of sort of, what would it be like? Like it's a bell curve. It's a reverse bell curve. Ben Shapiro's following. It's people who are 14 and 80. That's it. Everybody else whose brain is, you know, working correctly, have no interest.
Shouldn't have that guy on anymore.
Right.
He's a dork. Come on.
Those conversations are important.
I think what's beautiful about what you're doing is you're open. I would not open up the. By the way, Ben Shapiro, underneath it all, I know that you and I would probably have fun, but I know that right now where you're at in your incarnation, you're a fucking dork.
I mean, amazing, and he's right. I mean, the problem with Ben Shapiro is not that he's a dork. There's lots of dorks that I like. Isn't Andrew WK kind of a dork? Who else is a dork? I'm cool with dorks. It's but he's coming about this at the right ways. Like he's like, I don't want to explain all this guy that he's a bigot and a whack job, and he's sucking down dark money from lunatics who want to push this stuff. You just say he's a dork, and that kind of encapsulates everything. It's like it's the sort of like reverse bully reversal kind of thing happening.
No, you know what I mean? Like he's a dork. He's a dork. But what's so confusing?
He's a nice guy.
But that's what's confusing about him is because you
like him a lot.
You look at him and you're like, he's all like beating up what's her face about the thing and that embarrassing thing.
What?
The music video, he's like, and they were doing fornication.
Did you see me and Ali Makovsky talking about wet ass pussy?
Oh God! Like that thing Shapiro's do. It's so embarrassing, Joe. And like that dude is like an embarrassment. But I don't think what people admit when they look at Ben Shapiro, it's like there's a piece of you that's like, I'd have fun with him. Like it'd be fun to drink with him. He's probably cool. But he's like right now.
I don't think he drinks, but he's a nice guy.
He's whatever it is.
He's a good person. I'm not bullshitting.
I don't know. I think that, you know, everybody should be redeemed. Like, who's like the absolute worst human being? Like some Nazi or something. Like some whatever 4chan Nazi or whatever. One of the Pee the Frog. I just watched that Pee the Frog documentary. One of those people who's like putting swastikas on Pee the Frog. Like that person, I believe, even is redeemable. Like if whatever, Richard Spencer or whoever, some neo-Nazi was like, you know what? I don't like this stuff anymore. You know, I was wrong. My brain was in a weird place. I was in a weird place. And I realized that that's being a bigot is stupid. And I was stupid. And I want to work for a good cause now. Done. I mean, I think people should be a little bit wary of you, maybe. But I think done, and you should be accepted and loved and cared about, you know? So I agree with this. I don't like the whole thing of like, let's beat up on this guy. I mean, it's easy content because he's obviously a demented guy with some deep problems. But it's also weird that Joe Rogan, who seems like a kind of average Joe, you know, dude who also seems pretty smart and seems to have the time to read, would fall for this stuff. would not look up some writing about gender or trans stuff, or maybe say, hey, there's an article about Ben Shapiro where it mentions one of his tweets where he's kind of saying that Arab people should be wiped out. Maybe there's something off about this guy. And he doesn't really push back. Whenever he has Ben Shapiro on the show, it's just like that little weirdo gets free reign to say whatever he wants, you know? I don't know.
But whatever it is,
he's a good person. I'm not bullshitting.
Look, again, I think our job right now is not to alienate. We have to like involve.
That's why I have him on.
That's why I know you're doing it, Joe.
I'm telling you right now, Ben Shapiro is a nice man. He's a nice man. I see him, I hug him every time I see him. And I don't hug him to be fake. I hug him because I genuinely love that guy.
I think
he's a nice guy.
Look, I think some of the stuff he's propagating in his like philosophies is like legitimately deranged.
Bro, he's wearing...
There we go. I don't know. What a weird position for Duncan Trussell to be in. You have this guy who basically really, really helped you with his career. Really helped you with your career, Joe Rogan. But this is like a fundamental, like, world deciding, you know, future of the country, you know, let's just, you know, 1930s style, you know, some people are slipping into some stuff kind of situation. I mean, I can only say this so many times that he did the right thing, but it's just, yeah, that's the other thing. Like, he knows, I bet this went through his mind, and Duncan Trussell probably talked to people about this, where he's like, man, yeah, Joe Rogan, like, he's done so much for me, and I love the guy, and we're close friends, and we're great friends and all this, but man, wow, he slips down some dark paths, and he gets some dark weirdos on his show, and he does not seem to have the capacity or the willingness to push back on them and to check them on this stuff. I mean, dude, literally, I mean, we could go through all this stuff. Dude's a straight up fascist. I mean, it's not even arguable.
An outfit.
It's a costume.
It's got, I mean, Ben Shapiro could never take off the yarmulke, shave his head, tattoo his chest with an eagle,
right.
Wear a bikini.
Joe Rogan is
He's got an outfit
in this thing.
I just want,
but it's not his fault. Great. I'm telling you, we all come from a different spot. If life is a race, it's not like everybody's.
I agree with this too. Like when I first started reading about, you know, these right-wing kooks online, my initial thought about Ben Shapiro was that his parents were like Hollywood hippies or something. By the way, it's hilarious that the dude like has never left LA. He's like, I'm just a right-winger. Hey, buddy, why don't you move to one of those red states? No, thank you, because I will immediately be killed. That's what I thought. Like his parents were maybe like Hollywood hippies, and he kind of had that sort of reactionary thing of like, gotta be different than my parents. Gotta react, and they were poor too, I think. So he's probably like, gotta react, gotta do different than the parents. Like it's people with cool parents, hippie parents tend to be, you know, weird conservatives a lot of the time. I'm not sure if that's what happened to Ben Shapiro, but I would not be surprised.
He's on the same starting line. Like, people are on starting lines that are like a mile behind yours. They're so far away. They're all different. And here's the thing. Even if people are wrong about many things, or even, I'll explain this better. Even if you disagree with the way people feel about so many different things, it doesn't mean you can't be their friend. It doesn't. And I'm telling you.
I don't think I want to be friends with a dude who's paid to be racist. Man, yeah, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with this if you're Duncan Trussell?
We got it wrong,
That's so
man.
sweet.
Here's what's important. What's important is whoever that person is, they got to be sincere. Now, as soon as you feel like someone's a grifter, you got to cast them out.
Right.
You got to cast them
That's
out.
cool.
'Cause
Just look at his website. Look at his website. Here, we'll go right now. Daily Wire. Daily Wire. And remember, this website was started with the help of two brothers who are fracking billionaires. So let's look up climate. Well, actually, let's just start with this. Let's go fracking. Yeah, that's where a lot of that money came from. Millions of dollars, if not billions, from these fracking guys, okay? Biden, I'm not going to ban fracking. Trump is lying. Here's Biden on fracking the last 2 years. So it's them saying, look, Biden's anti-fracking, that's bad. Biden goes extreme. Give oil industry no ability to continue to drill. Take millions of cars off the road. Watch, digital ad highlights devastating impacts of Democrats' plan to ban fracking. Oh my gosh, another pro-fracking article. God bless Texas. Lone Star State set all-time high for oil production. There's not one negative thing about this, and a lot of this guy's career has been talking about how climate change is not real. Study, fracking bumps the economy. So Joe Rogan just said, like, if somebody's a grifter, get him out. Here's a guy who takes millions of dollars from the oil industry, and whoops, for somehow all the articles on his site are pro-fracking. Whoops. That is the absolute definition of a grifter. He's also done all these campus, the Young Americans Foundation, which is like a right-wing dark money organization, does all these campus speaking things. They finance those. He goes on the campus, tells them why climate change is fake. This is like the absolute worst. If you were the type of grifter, like you were an actual con artist, you did things like you what's like a con? If you were a pickpocket or something, or you pretended to get, there was a movie that Dana Carvey made like in the 80s where he would pretend to get hit by cars to make money. Like people would just pay him off to not like sue them or whatever. I respect that. I have some respect for that level of grifting and con artistry. This is just like the lowest, most like sewer, just creepy corporate, like mutant version of being a grifter, because this is like the truth and the future of the planet and his kids and your kids' ability to breathe in the future. And he's like, fuck that, give me the millions of dollars. I mean, it's so deeply demented for this cool guy, but a comedian, a psychedelic comedian, to have to tell this gatekeeper, this millions of views gatekeeper, this just like holder of the key to just tons of people's consciousness, that this idiot is a grifter and a liar, is astounding. It's astounding. Like, how could you not catch this? How could you not see this? It's baffling. Disturbing, man. Adults of the internet, you got to be able to catch this stuff.
Because they got to figure that out on their own, and they got to apologize.
That's cool, man.
Listen, you can be wrong, but you have to be honest. And if you're just...
I would love to see the pre-interview, or days before the interview, when maybe, I bet you, Duncan Trussell was talking to his wife, and Duncan Trussell recently had a kid, so I bet he's thinking about this stuff, like the climate stuff and the future, and wanting the future to be better for his child. And he's just a guy with a moral compass. I mean, some of these right-wingers, these Dave Rubins, these Ben Shapiros of the world, there's no moral compass. I mean, they're literally, it's like a baby. It's like a baby. A baby, you don't expect to have ethics or morals. It just dumps its pants, pushes things over, breaks things, and you're like, hopefully it'll grow out of it. Because I don't want my kid growing up to be a sociopath and a psycho who keeps up with this behavior. That's what it is.
just bullshit.
And I think, that's what I was saying. I think that, Duncan Trussell was, I bet you, I if I had to guess, Duncan Trussell probably has a cool wife and a bunch of cool friends, and they're just like, man, they're becoming more politically aware, maybe like everyone is, and they're like, I gotta say something, because this show, there's a force for evil side to it, and the best thing I could do right now is confront it.
Shitting. Then I can't hang out with you.
Dude, hey, let me ask you
Ben Shapiro's not bullshitting.
I don't think he's...
Okay, so there's two possibilities. Either shitting, which I think it's both. I think he's a deeply sociopathic lunatic, and he's bullshitting because he's not stupid. I mean, this guy went to Harvard. He can look up studies on climate change. He can look up. He can read stuff about trans rights. He could read stuff about trans psychology and how it's not a choice and all this stuff. He can understand this. So there's an element of being a bullshitter and an element of being crazy, I think, too.
Bullshitting. I just think he's like a little like antiquated in his idea. Look, man, I'm not like the whole Ben Shapiro thing. That's of all your guests, it's the
He's
one.
a great guy, man. If you met him, if you and I,
he keeps going. He keeps pushing. He keeps defending this guy. I guess, I don't know, this is just what being like a centrist is now. It's just like, hey, Nazis are cool, normal people are cool. They're both great. Everyone's great. A guy who thinks all Arabs should be killed, he's great. A guy who literally tweets that Arabs live in open sewers. A guy who thinks gay people should not have rights. A guy who thinks trans people should not have rights. And says that they're mentally ill. And spreads absolute unscientific information all the time for his own personal gain. He's actually a cool guy. I mean, he definitely has everybody has the potential to be a cool guy and to be normal. That would be amazing. I don't know. That would be the event of the decade. Would be for these two guys to get this little weasel Ben Shapiro on the show and like put some DMT in him or some weed or some alcohol, for God's sake. Maybe that's part of the problem. This dude's maybe he needs to get drunk for once in his life or something. Who knows what's gonna knock his fascist side loose and get it to fall away. But yeah, to get them all in a room together, get some DMT or some acid in Ben Shapiro and just see what happens. So maybe he'll have to see his own reflection, and he'll be so disgusted that he'll change. Who knows?
And him went to a steak dinner. We'd have a great conversation. I hung out with him at the what's that steakhouse? The Boa in Hollywood, down the store from the store.
I can't imagine that that's true. That anyone would have a good conversation with him. I feel like it would be like, hey, you know what? Hey, Ben Shapiro, have you ever heard of ContraPoints? I was watching a ContraPoint. Well, actually, that normalizes trans behavior, which is a mental illness. And like, I feel like that's literally what it would be like. It would just be like, you say something or you bring up something, or it would be like, hey, Ben Shapiro, I was just listening to Travis Scott on the way. Well, that actually normalizes the lazy behavior of black people. And like, it would literally just be like a one-sided, there would be no conversation. It would be him shooting, just firing, just nonsense at you.
Sunset?
But he's also a Hollywood phony baloney too, so maybe his whole thing is just an act, and maybe I'm falling for it right now.
I had a great time with him. He's a good man.
I don't care.
I genuinely like him a lot. When he texts me, Ben Shapiro texts me, I look at my phone, I'm like, Ben Shapiro, I like that guy. I like him.
Look, as far as I'm concerned,
this is the most also, not to keep interrupting this, but this is the most high school conversation. Like, dude, you got to stop hanging out with these fucking nut jobs, but I like them. They're good guys. Hey, yeah, these people are dragging you down in the mud, dude. Your grades are slipping, but I like them.
If you're going to create what I think could be created by humanity, we have to create the engine not of rejection but of acceptance, which meaning that, like, if you got a charismatic Ben Shapiro avatar in the video game, in the simulation that we're in, there's a way to reabsorb him into reality that isn't like the way people currently see him.
If he's willing to relinquish his ideology.
Yeah.
And
like,
he has a very strict religious ideology.
Yeah, he's stuck in this little thing.
But I think that's helped him. That little thing. Look, if you
Absolutely. It's helped him make millions of dollars from dark money. Yeah, totally. The fracking bill. Well, that's technically not dark money, but the fracking billionaires who helped him, who still give him money and barrage YouTube with daily wire ads. Oh fuck yeah, that's helped him. But that's called lazy opportunist grifting. That's, yeah, it's helped him, but it's helped him in the way that, like, if I learned to just like beat the shit out of people, or if I learned a way to kind of like get ATMs to spit out all the money, that would help me a lot. Let me tell you, that would help me.
You figure out a way to do something that helps you past most of the people that you're competing against, but ultimately hinders you against the people who learn your lessons plus other lessons and aren't hampered by ideology, and they pass you. Like, there's a moment where you have to figure out when you're going to let go.
He seems to have a very, like, clear mind. That's what's cool about him. He seems to, like, have a very insightful mind. I like that. I just feel like something about him, it, like, smacks of, like, the Nazi intellectuals.
Yes, it does, but he's Jewish. And here's the thing I love.
Oh, no. Let's look this up, actually. I can't remember what the name of them. Just so we can dispel this. What are they called? The Telegraph. Weirdly enough, I can't remember. There was an actual name for them. The Association of German National Jews. The Association of German National Jews was a German Jewish organization during the Weimar Republic and early years of Nazi Germany that eventually came out in support of Adolf Hitler. One of their leaders was a time-traveling Ben Shapiro. Oh my God, Wikipedia. You can't put that. So this is the extreme of, you can be Jewish and a Nazi at the same time, because it literally happened. The Association of German National Jews was founded in 1921 by Max Newman, who was its chairman until 1926. The goal of the association was the total assimilation of Jews into the German Volksgemeinschaft, self-eradication of Jewish identity, and the expulsion from Germany of Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe. I mean, there's the blueprint right there. I can't believe an adult would say that. Because Duncan Trussell is exactly right. He's like, it reminds me of these Nazi intellectuals. Of course. There was tons of that before World War II. There was tons of intellectualizing and laundering this kind of belief. And for someone to say, God damn it, with that platform to say, but he's Jewish. How could he possibly?
When people get mad at me that I talk to him, I'm like, just listen to what we're saying. Listen, he's not a bad guy. You might not agree with him, but me and him are having really, really good conversations about why I feel like you can't tell an 18-year-old kid just pull your pants up and don't shoot anybody.
Yeah.
We're having these like really nuanced conversations, and he's allowing me because he knows I like him.
So you're like the Bohemian Grove.
But he knows I like him. Like Ben Shapiro and I don't agree on many things, but he knows if I see him, I go, "What's up, man?"
I mean, Duncan Trussell is not happy about this. He's goddamn, like, he's doing the right thing, and he's not backing down, and he's not candy coating it. He's candy coating a little bit, but he's like he keeps pressing on.
Man, how you doing? I hug him, and it's genuine.
That's what's
I
cool.
really care about him.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
So if he and I are sitting like right here and we talk about stuff, he knows that if I don't agree with him, it doesn't change my feelings about whether or not I'll hug him or I love him.
That's it. That's it.
Yes, that's the problem we're all facing. We're all facing this.
Yeah, so this is true. Like, if I could maybe, I mean, I don't know that I would want to, but it would probably be in my interest to like talk to Ben Shapiro, and I could hold him to a lot more stuff than Joe Rogan does. I mean, of course, he uses sneaky media tactics where he'll fire a bunch of memorized misleading statistics like he did with the LBJ war on poverty stuff on the Joe Rogan program. Again, another reason to support the idea that he uses Joe Rogan to push his propaganda and lie on Joe Rogan's show. I mean, but Joe Rogan's kind of right. Like, you can sit down with these people and you can expose yourself to their audience and blah, 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 but you really have to know how to like burn away their BS, and you have to not let them lie to people, which is hard.
This problem where we identify with ideas, whereas I think we can just do our best to make good with where we stand right now as a human, and when we encounter other humans, let's take ideas and put them in front of us, and let's cross our arms and let's go over these ideas without any attachment. That's where it gets hard, because most of us don't have enough personal satisfaction in our own accomplishments to relinquish this idea that our ideas are not ours. That our ideas are just it's just a mathematical problem. It's a fucking Rubik's Cube.
Yeah,
it's a fucking game of Clue. Like, who knows who did it? Is it Charlotte in the fucking library with a rope? We don't know. So
I get what he's saying here, and this is definitely like the viewpoint of someone who's like trying to move towards some kind of enlightenment and, you know, kindness toward all other people. And I want to live in that world where everybody's like, let's all hear each other out and let's be cool, and like we're all moving in the same direction, and you know, it's okay. We don't need to be so attached to ideas and basically be creating wars with each other based on ideas and stuff. Of course, blah blah blah. I mean, this is basic stuff, but you know, this is not entirely reality, let's just say that, when it comes to the current political situation. Like, you only need to think to the past a little bit, you know? Like, we don't even need to go into these extreme examples of, like, anti-Nazis in World War II, and you know, whatever, you know, socialist in Italy when Mussolini took charge and all that stuff. We don't need to go to that. You could go to like anti-war people in the early 2000s against George W. Bush, right? The war in Iraq led to so many deaths, blah blah blah, right? You can't just say, hey, let's just talk to these people who are totally attached to going to war for their own gain. Let's just say, hey, they have ideas, we have ideas. I wish that were true. I wish the world were that clean and simple, but you know, I mean, there's the most simple way to describe this is that there is like an evil force that unfortunately Ben Shapiro is a part of. And I would rather, and you know, I'm kind of thinking about it, maybe just like leaving the country and going and living in like Vietnam or something, and just kind of like, you know, living in a tent or something, you know, just totally just abandoning the idea of society in general, or definitely leaving the United States, you know, but and also just not thinking about anything political at all, and just like, I don't know, just like drinking all day or something, and eating noodles or something. But until that happens, like, it's almost like you're kind of forced to pay attention to this stuff, because some of it's so extreme, especially if you're inundated. If you pay attention to social media at all, you're inundated with these lunatic advertisements and algorithm suggestions from people like Shapiro. So if only it were as simple as Joe Rogan is describing. Oh, if I could have millions of podcasting dollars and just be like, hey, why can't we all just chill and smoke weed in our mansion, guys? Come on. Well, a lot of people kind of have to fight the political battles, I think. You kind of have to, I think. You at least have to think about it, unless you're just oblivious.
So this thing that we're doing as people today is we're scared. And one of the things that happen when people are scared is they pull back. You pull back, you put up fences, you wall off, you protect your tribe.
Yeah.
Your tribe gathers. You decide what you can say, what you can't say.
Yeah,
and you decide
you're scared.
who's the enemy and who's good and who's bad, and everybody walks.
I feel like Joe Rogan's brain is just on autopilot with this. Because none of this really makes sense. He's saying that, like, you're protecting your tribe from people saying certain things. I mean, it's not, it's just like, don't let people, because he is being taken advantage of. He's being taken advantage of by a guy who sounds smart, but who is a fascist propagandist who does it to make as much money as he possibly can. And this is a kind of like a beautiful, like almost cinematically dramatic moment where you can go back and watch these videos of Joe Rogan being bamboozled by these buffoons. And now you got a guy who's closer in Hollywood terms to a real friend, who's saying, hey, just to let you know, like, these people are creeps. You know, I'm the person willing to tell you the truth.
Balls off. And my thoughts are that's a trap. And that is just something that we've been...
Well, anyway, it goes on and on. But, yeah, Duncan Trussell's great. If you can go watch this interview. I mean, I would just subscribe to the Duncan Trussell podcast, to be honest, and donate to his Patreon. But he did it. I mean, Duncan Trussell's probably okay in terms of, like, his career and stuff. So he had the comfort level to do this, but still a brave thing to do. And he did the right thing, I think.
For much more content, that's what I call it, subscribe to my podcast. Subscribe to my pod. You can also call me and leave me a message at 512-593-8854. That's 512-593-8854. Thank you, and God bless.